and welcome to Dirty Casual, the Heroes of the Storm podcast for the rest of us. My name is Bearcatte, and here are my co-hosts.
Hello.
And Big Oakley.
Welcome to episode number 10.
Hooray!
We did it, you guys.
Double digits.
We made it.
Digits.
We're big time now.
We can retire.
We need a soundboard because we'd be like, yay!
Well, we've got all those extracted sounds that you like to.
I'd love to do something with that.
I think we can. I think I can make that happen.
We found a big soundboard that has every Heroes of the Storm sound known to Heroes of the Storm, to the Nexus, so to speak.
Yeah, somebody's gone through and extracted all the sounds and put it on a nice website. So we've got all of those that we want to do something with. Not
So
sure
it
what
could be
yet.
like big time radio DJs.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Fart sounds. And
Yeah, fart sounds, and I have no time for games.
horns honking.
So yeah, do you guys have a good week? How's everybody had?
I had a fantastic week, actually.
Not bad.
We played the other night, and I won 8 out of 9 games straight. And I played around with Nova a little bit.
Patch?
After the patch. I haven't had any good matchups, though. Like, I played today, and my team was just like, everybody just died. You turn around and somebody was dead. It's like, Nova can't do
Well,
anything.
no, the goal is to kill the opposing team.
Right, yeah, but my team apparently didn't understand that.
That's not the goal. The goal is to kill the core.
No, the core is to have the biggest score.
Yeah, okay.
That's how you know
That's
you
how you
did-
play
Yeah,
the video game.
It's all
That's
about
how you know you can yell at other people.
Yeah.
It's all about the KD ratio.
So happy Lunar Festival to everybody.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. Happy
that's,
Year of the Monkey.
That's correct, the Year of the Monkey. So you guys can...
Not my year.
And Li-Ming is actually here.
Yeah.
That was surprising.
I thought that was
Honestly,
surprising
yeah.
I
too.
expected at least another week.
PTR cycles typically last like 2 to 3 weeks. It did
Yeah.
with Morales. It did with Butcher.
I thought maybe 2 weeks at least.
Right,
I was
yeah.
surprised to see her drop the same week as... The reason why I was mostly surprised to see her drop the same week as Lunar Festival is just pure money. Like, how much do you want people to spend? You know, her bundle is $22, and the other bundles are, around that, depending on what you own. So
Yeah,
they really wanted a lot of money out of your
It's an
pockets.
expensive bundle week. Like, if you pick them all up right now, you're talking $50. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not dropping that. Sorry, guys. You're not getting $50.
And there's some
from me.
cute stuff, but there is some cute stuff in there.
Yeah, there is.
Gotta wait till Black Friday.
So the assault of Li-Ming has begun.
It's true.
How have your first games been?
She hasn't really been a terrible threat. Not to me.
Smasher.
You smashed her. You play tanks.
Right.
So she's not too much of a threat.
I
Because
played.
you can get in her face. And you play Chen, too.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because last night I played Chen and Diablo, and both have gap closers.
Yep.
So if you just stick to her, she really can't do anything.
No, she can
Yeah.
teleport. She can step to the side. That's about it.
Right, yeah.
But if you
or
just get
you
right
know,
next
she
to
can
her.
arcane orb you, and you
Laugh. Yeah. It's right in your face. You're like, oh.
Yeah, it basically does nothing if you stay in her face. I was playing Jaina, so I could just like walk up to her as she was trying to hit me with her missiles and slow her down, and then stand in her face and make her die. She just couldn't get away from me, and she doesn't do any damage if you're there.
So, I mean, I think that we did play yesterday. We had a free play yesterday.
Yeah, heroes.
And we had some great games. I
Yeah.
think especially our last game was
So
excellent.
brutal,
Is
so
that Towers
good.
of Doom one?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But I
Please
mean,
watch that VOD.
yes, it's very, very good. It's a little bit of a stomp, that last game. However, I think it really shows some of the synergy that these characters and comps can have if you just kind of really think how the heroes work together. Because Oakley took Earthquake
I
on
took Earthquake
Thrall.
on Thrall.
Because we had...
Which is a new
Right.
ultimate introduced.
That's a new...
Right, it's brand new with this patch.
Yeah.
But for this particular game, I was Thrall.
Argyle was running on Diablo.
Diablo. You were
I was on Vala.
Vala, and then we had Jinx on Rhaegar, and
Arc.
was on Jaina.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was gross.
It was pretty disgusting.
But no, yeah, I was running Earthquake, which
To slow
synergized.
everyone down for
So-
Apocalypse and into Reign of Vengeance.
Right, so an Earthquake, like, it didn't have to be before, it could be after, it just had to be in the area of Apocalypse going off, because then they were guaranteed to get hit by it.
Mhm.
And it just set up everything. Every time it happened, we got at least 3 kills.
I think
off of it.
I think we got 3 kills every single time, which
It
was
was
brutal. It was brutal.
Underneath their towers.
Yeah.
So,
Whoops. Sorry
it.
if that was you and you're listening. It was a brutal game.
There were
Sorry,
5
but-
people very mad at us
Yeah,
for
they're
that
very
game.
angry.
oh man, it was gross.
So I highly suggest you guys check it out. I think it's a really brilliant display of kind of what they can do. Also, Rhaegar is stupid strong right now. We'll be talking a little bit about that later. And so we had just a grand old time yesterday, I thought.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I did notice that the patch, I believe it's the patch, caused some issues with me switching programs, however. I think that is what it is, because I'd never had this issue until yesterday. And that is, I was trying to switch to, say, OBS, that's what I was streaming in, and it wouldn't let me switch to anything behind it. It wouldn't come up on top of Heroes of the Storm, which caused the overlay to be on the stream a little bit longer than it was supposed to. I apologize for the VOD problems with that. I'll try to get that figured out next time so it doesn't happen.
Sorry, I'm dying.
No, don't.
I don't want to. Yeah, the patch has caused some strange issues for a lot of people. Like the lag spikes, the micro stutters that we were getting at different points. Your issue is probably in there somewhere as well.
Yeah. It's not a big deal. I'll figure it out for next time. But going back to Li-Ming, I think that we've covered her quite a few times. Yeah, it's mostly because she was on the PTR. I played her on PTR. I have her now, and I think she's really strong. I think she is going to be a pub stomper. I really do believe that.
Absolutely.
She does so much damage from far away, and that I think she will scare people away, which is actually worse. You need to kind of get in her face, as we talked about.
Yeah, she's the new butcher, at least for a while, until people figure out that, yeah, you need to be on top of her, because she's extremely squishy.
I think what's going to happen is you're going to see kind of like the Morales effect, where people are going to want to dive her specifically, and then they'll go beyond their front line, and then they'll just turn and get destroyed.
Focus the mage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's what it's going to become to. It's like, oh man, we got to kill her first, or something like that. I see that being a problem. If she's caught out, she is dead immediately.
Absolutely,
basically. Yeah. And if a team fight does not go in your team's favor, she's probably dead.
Yes. So just to we'll touch on, the one thing we didn't really touch on was counters for her, and I think that this is something that could be really useful to you if you just, come to the game, I don't know who this character is, I don't know what she does, what can I do? A couple things you can do is play Zeratul or the Butcher. These two characters will murder her outright. There's not much she can do about it either.
What's his face? Greymane is also a good option. Great. He's got a great closer to just mess her up. Nova still does a decent amount of damage, so she can, at the very least, she'll push her out of the way. She may not be able to kill her, but she'll get her out of the lane. We've already talked about Diablo and Chen being great. Tyrael, another warrior with Judgment.
Another one of her weaknesses is the laning phase as well, because anything that gets in her way will stop her skill shots. Which is also why Anubarak and Zagara and Azmodan are excellent counters to her as well.
Oh, yeah. Azmodan was a hard counter. We found that out last night.
It was hilarious watching her trying to hit me among my army of little dudes. Like, I'm sorry, you can't hit me, girl.
and that's part of what makes her not scary. No matter who's up against her in lane, you just stand minions. She's not going to touch you. She can't.
She also has the lowest health pool in the game other than Murky or Abathur, which makes her the most papier-mâché of papier-mâché glass cannons of all time. You thought this was the kill this guy of all time.
Doesn't she also have like the lowest regen?
She has the second lowest regen, and Abathur has the lowest regen.
Okay.
So, I mean, I actually really like her, and I really welcome her into the game. I think she's a little bit overtuned, possibly her damage, but honestly, we didn't have that much of an issue. No. Maybe it'll get worse when people get better with her, though.
It's possible, but as it is right now, if you're paying attention, you just step to the left.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably our biggest weakness is what you just talked about. Of even in team fights, if a very aware tank sees the arcane orb coming in, if he just eats it, that saves the rest of the team a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Or if you just happen to catch somebody at the wrong, there's a lot that can go wrong. There's so much that can go wrong with the arcane orb. I don't think she's overtuned. I don't necessarily think she's undertuned either. I just think she has a lot of things that can go very poorly for her.
Right. It's a skill cap thing. Like a highly skilled character or player can just, decimate with her.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But otherwise, she in less than capable hands, she's almost a non-threat.
But I will say she does look fun in anybody's hands.
Yes.
She looks like a lot of
She's
fun.
super duper fun. I love the fact that you can almost like spam her abilities. That's the one thing I do think is overtuned about her, actually, is that Blizzard, when they introduced this character, they stressed that she would have mana problems, essentially. They said this is her issue, that she's constantly resetting, and so her mana is her limiting factor. However, there are two talents you can take in a level 1 tier that almost eliminate mana problems completely, especially the one that allows you to regenerate 100% of your mana regen when you're under 50% mana. Literally, if you can just get out of the fight for just a couple seconds and then you can get right back in, and you almost never run out of mana.
Yeah, I noticed that you our Li-Ming never seemed to have problems ever when we played hard.
I don't even think I went back that often. So I mean that's really freaking impressive. I mean we always had a healer, but still that's very impressive. I didn't really have to worry about mana regen at all.
Yeah, but from Blizzard's side, that's a pretty easy fix. Should be a pretty easy fix. Just reduce her mana regen rate.
Right.
I mean, because that's the talent that makes it work.
Right. So I think that she's awesome, and I welcome her to the Nexus. I'm really excited about. I think it's really pretty. I love the lunar. I really want to hand it to Blizzard. Have you guys checked out the Easter egg?
Yes.
For this week?
The loading screen for Li-Ming is really good.
If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and click all of the lanterns.
Oh yes,
all 8 of them.
All 8 lanterns, and you'll get a surprise. So there's your Easter egg, and it's really beautiful. Again, I really can't stress that. I think that they did it. The screen just looks pretty when you log in.
There's so much going on.
Yeah.
In this background, it's a ton, and it's great.
So, I think other than Li-Ming, are there any more news that we haven't covered? I mean, it's been kind of a quiet week, especially now that the balance changes have dropped. I guess the 2 biggest ones we talked about again last week are Rhaegar and Nova. How have you guys liked them so far in live?
I don't play either of those characters. I don't even own them, but we did play alongside them. Jinx played a lot of Rhaegar last night, and it just seemed like not only was he already better at everything he was doing, but he just had other fun tricks also. Like Earth's Shield actually seemed really good, especially me playing a tank and having that reliable shield and stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played Rhaegar one time, 2 times, very few times, and he can duel really, really well.
He's a very effective dueler. He actually was before, but now he is scary.
Well, now you don't need the talent for it, 7 levels into the game.
No, well, you just go the Lightning Shield build, and I, without even trying, chewed Diablo from 70% down to 20 in just a couple of seconds with the Rising Storm talent.
Which just means that every time it hits somebody, it gains 20% damage.
And it hits fast.
I think it hits twice in a second.
Yeah.
So it's not nice. I think that's the one thing that might be overtuned for him. I think he's going to suffer from the Tyrande effect, where it's like, where's my drawback? The only drawback is that he's melee.
Yeah.
And he has Ghost Wolf to help with that. So, and Earthbind, I believe this was his totem.
Yeah, but he doesn't necessarily have to be doing damage himself for the shield to be effective.
That's true. But if you take the talent that gives you also a shield,
yes,
it's devastating for you. And then on top of that Feral Lunge, it is devastating how much damage you can do.
It's great.
So, we're gonna have to look into that. And I know you've played a lot of Nova as well.
I've played a few games with her since she's gone live. But like I said, I haven't had really great teams to try her out with.
Not good gift games. We'll have to try that out.
Yeah, I want to get some more time with her. The games I played, I was still able to keep Snipe Master when I tried it up at 15 or 20% pretty consistently. So I've never been able to get really above that. So I don't think it's hard to fully capitalize on it, at least at this point.
20% puts you at ambush snipe levels, because that's where snipe was originally. Basically, the required level 1 talent for Nova initially was ambush snipe, which gives you 20% damage out of stealth. Now, the upside to Snipe Master is, so it only adds to your snipe damage, correct?
Correct.
So you have to keep on hitting, and it would do 20% extra damage. But then you're saying you would probably miss your 5th shot or whatever.
Yeah, you miss your 5th one, so then you're back down a little bit.
Yeah.
But
so you're actually, it's not even close to ambush snipe, because you have to already have gone 5 shots, and then you end up missing your 6, which would bring you up to 25, and then suddenly you're back at 0, so you're even as if you have no talent at all.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm like I said, I need to play with it some more. I still think overall it's going to give you a lot more damage, especially if you pair it with the crippling.
Vulnerability?
Yes, that's the one I was looking for. Especially if you pair it with the vulnerability. If you're halfway decent with your skill shots, I think it's going to be an increase in your damage. But one, the chamber with pinning shot, I think is better.
It's just far more reliable.
Yeah, it doesn't rely on you having to be 100% on with your skill shots, or even 50% on with your skill shots. You just get vulnerability and more damage and extra range, and it's more reliable.
I like that idea of having a more utility-based Nova, also providing vulnerability and slows, because penning slows also, doesn't it?
That's correct.
Yeah, so, I mean, that seems like, Nova almost seems like a character I'd want to play now. Before, it was super boring concept to me.
It was, frankly. It wasn't that fun to play. I mean, it's fun because, you're like MLG sniping everybody.
Right,
and just,
exactly.
It felt like it literally felt like you walked into like a private server of CSGO and just hacked. That's what it felt like initially, because you could just delete people from the video game,
and they wouldn't even see it coming.
You would laugh your ass off. Then you would feel bad about it. You're like, I'm sorry, I'm making this healer, this squishy's life hell. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm just hunting them, and it ended up just being a mind game. I thought it was a really apt. It was a very apt description to say. It was like you were playing the entire game against Nova. Like, you almost didn't care about the rest of the team comp, because where is Nova? That's my number one question for old Nova. Now, I mean, she's still a threat, but she's not like, oh my god, if I'm not constantly worried about her, I am actually dead, and our team's going to lose because I'm feeding Nova. And on top of that, she gets a gathering power stack. It's not like that anymore.
No, she can still delete squishies. Don't think she can't. Mm-hmm. But
she doesn't get stronger.
More often than not, a squishy will be able to walk away from it. Maybe not with much life, but with some.
All right.
And I actually played against a crippling shot build with anti-armor shells. That hurts a lot. Anti-armor shells still hurts a ton.
Oh, man.
Especially with the increased range. You don't have to be as close still. Mm-hmm. So it hurts. It's still viable, but it's got the same drawbacks. So
since it's kind of a light week, on news anyway, we haven't gotten very much in the way of news, I thought that we would go ahead and continue our series on
support.
Our series on types of players in this game. Tanks, assassins, roles. That's the word.
Roles. There's the word.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The different roles. So I mostly main support nowadays, I would say. I kind of trade off with Jinx, or who's in our team essentially, or we do double healer. So I would say I have a decent amount of experience with all the healers in the game. I own all of them, and I've played them all quite a bit. So I have kind of mixed. I've divided the healers into different sections. I have healers, support / utility, and flex hybrid healers. So I thought maybe today we'd just go ahead and start with just our healers, and we'll just go down the list, and then I'll go into kind of the more supporty, flexible roles later. The first one I'd like to talk about is Uther. Uther is a very powerful,
hardly picked hero. You rarely see that guy in competitive play.
He is picked all the time. He is extremely, extremely powerful. He's actually labeled as an easy-to-play character, which shocks the hell out of me, because I do not think this character is easy to play at all.
One of his best heals is a skill shot.
No, I think that his Holy Light is the best. So his abilities are Holy Light, and Holy Radiance, and Hand of Justice. So Holy Light is a targeted burst heal.
It's big.
The Holy Radiance is a line. It heals allies in its way, and it damages enemies in its way. And then Hand of Justice is just Hammer of Justice is a targeted stun. Mm-hmm. I think this character is somewhat hard to play because he's melee, so that always puts him to a frontlining role, which is kind of difficult. And the other thing is that he has access to so many activated abilities. If you have played World of Warcraft and you've played Paladin, it's actually a lot like that. It literally is almost like playing WoW. So if you're comfortable with that, then maybe you would like to try this character. Some of the access abilities that he has is a very common build that he has, which is Cleanse, Protective Shield, Shrink Ray, and Benediction. This is a low cooldowns. This is almost like, you got a problem, I can fix that. That's pretty much what he can do. I think that he is a great healer for people to kind of start out with if you are ready for a challenge, because if you can master Uther, you can be prepared for almost any other healer's kit in the game.
Pretty much.
So, actually, the only character you might have more trouble, it's like maybe Karazhan after that. So
I think the most difficult thing for me with Uther, especially compared to other healers, is Holy Light has a really long cooldown
compared
to other heals.
Yeah.
So that takes a lot of getting used to.
It takes a lot of getting used to it. It takes some restraint because you have to get out of the idea of I need to top everybody off because you need to be prepared, especially in this burst meta right now. Like that is for and I forgot to talk about his ult. His ultimates are Divine Storm and Divine Shield.
Yeah.
Divine Shield is an incredible healing ultimate. It grants invulnerability. It looks good. It's really great for bruisers and for other, squishy heroes. It's great for everything, essentially.
It's fantastic.
It's one of the best oh shit buttons in the game for a healer. So, yeah, he's
really good. He's also, it's really important for him to pay attention to positioning because of his Holy Radiance being a skill shot. Like, if you've got a lot of people that are injured, you have to use Holy Radiance. But everybody has to be basically in a line of some sort, which you more or less have to create the line between you and your end target.
So if you can get out of you can kind of get out of the mindset of everyone has to be topped off and kind of saving your big heals for when they're absolutely needed. Again, I think he's a high skill capped character that's easy to play, kind of. So if that makes sense, he has a low skill floor.
Yeah.
Like his skill floor is relatively low, but has a high skill ceiling due to all those activated abilities. So. Moving on, if you like to keep people topped off, I would recommend Lieutenant Morales. Lieutenant Morales is very good at keeping people topped off. She has really high single target healing with her healing beam. She's excellent for burst healing with Safeguard combined with healing beam. And she has a very, very strong late game with Caduceus Reactor 2.0, her level 20 talent, which provides a shield and provides mana regen, which means she almost never has to go back because she regens mana, she regens health, and she regens a shield. This is an extraordinarily powerful late game healer. Her downsides are she has very little escape capability and she is extremely position oriented because of that.
She's also not going to be able to do any kind of team healing. It's one target, which is really good, like you said, for burst healing and keeping people topped off, but it leaves her open to counters once you figure it out.
Yes, I think so. She has some ways to kind of prevent that. Displacement grenade, for instance, can kind of scatter a team and get some pressure off of your patient, which is very helpful. Also, if you talent it just a little bit, you can really do a lot of disruption with it and even some surprise damage.
I tend to do that. I played her recently for like the first time, and I had so much fun with her. She's a blast.
I really highly suggest that people kind of maybe even move away from some of the healing talents, because honestly, some of them, while very good, are not. Sometimes you can get a little bit more utility with some of these grenade talents, and I never used to play with any grenade talents until recently. I started playing with Clear, which gives a bigger knockback, and it is insane how much it can scatter a team and put people out of position, or maybe if you throw it past somebody, it'll hit in front of them and knock them back into your team. Which
is really, really great.
I mean, it can make you feel like a playmaker on a character you typically don't feel that way on.
Yeah.
And so I've started, ever since her buff to her health, I really feel like she's actually in a really, really great spot.
Yeah, it did wonders for her, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I wish she could heal herself reliably, though.
Other than taking damage?
Not taking damage, or couples therapy, is it?
Couples therapy is a level 13, I believe, talent, maybe 16, and that's when you heal somebody with your healing beam, heals you too.
Yeah.
And it's almost a required talent just because of that issue, that it can be scary.
It can be hard to get yourself healed.
Another advantage is that people, especially at lower MMRs, you're going to have a lot of people who want to kill you. You have a huge target painted on your head, and that's both a good thing and a bad thing, because it's a good thing because if people try to dive you, and she is susceptible to heavy divers, but if people try to dive you and you have good peel on your team, you're going to win, because they're either going to go too far, you'll kill that diver, you're now 5 versus 4, you're going to win that fight now.
And you've used no mana.
Yes.
Because they were attacking the wrong person.
Right. So, another thing I would try is the double safeguard talent, because that people will try to make you blow your safeguard, and if you can have 2 of them, you can usually kind of maintain your target, both of your patients, well enough that you. And again, it kind of depends if the enemy team is trying to bait out your safeguard, and you'll know by level 16 or whenever this happens
what they're trying to do.
You can try the double safeguard. If not, if they really are trying to focus and just burst your target down straight through your beam, pick up the increase in reduction of damage for your safeguard, which increases it by like 50% for the first 1.5 seconds you have safeguard on your target.
Yeah, it's big.
Mm-hmm. She also has access to cleanse and Mule, which compete actually. So she again is a very versatile healer.
Two very good talents.
They're good. I mean, again, Mule is situational, but it is strong, very strong on Sky Temple, on Blackheart's Bay, anything where there's like a beam kind of on your targets there. I also think it's relatively good on Towers of Doom, personally, because a lot of people don't spend a lot of time on the towers, so you have a lot of chance for your towers to recuperate.
Yeah.
And so...
And especially since the strategy on Towers of Doom is get a tower low until an objective comes up,
right,
and then burn it down.
Right, so Mule is really actually can be very powerful there.
So you basically take that strategy completely away from them if you have Mule.
Yeah. So her ultimates are Stim Drone and Medevac. Medevac, I think, requires a coordinated team and it requires the right map. But it can be really fun. I do think the more reliable ult, especially if you are not in a coordinated team, is Stim Drone. It's extraordinarily powerful. You put it on almost any melee or even really any auto attack hero. Yeah. It's great. So
Butcher looks crazy.
Butcher does look crazy.
Stim Drone. He swings so fast on his own anyway. It's
Butcher, Illidan, Zeratul, Vala.
Raynor is nasty with it.
Yeah, so yeah, you just melt. So I have really started to like her a lot more recently, and especially if you can get her past 16 and get her into past level 20, you're probably going to win. So, moving on, the next healer I have on my list is Lili, the panda.
Pandan?
Yeah, she's a I meant to say Pandaren, but it came out as Pandan. Lili is we've talked about her a little bit before, but she's a low skill cap hero. She's my beginner healer that I talked about on our show before. She has a healing brew, blinding wind, and a little sky serpent that she can attach to you, which can be talented. She has multiple talent builds. She has a serpent build, a blinding wind build, and just kind of like a cup build that you can do. I kind of don't recommend it, but you can do it.
And arguably like the best level 20 talent in the game.
Kung Fu Hustle?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Kung Fu Hustle is probably one of the best talents in the game. It's almost like Tyranda's reductions on crack. Like, it is so good.
It's battle momentum, except people attack you.
And you only have to get hit once, and you can get hit by anything. You don't even have to get hit by a hero. You can get hit by
creeps.
Yeah, you can get hit by a creep, and you can just run around with like a chicken.
Splash.
Yeah.
The core splash damage is the best.
You can just run around like a chicken with your head cut off, mashing Q. Just put your face on the keyboard. You can put a wind serpent on yourself, and nobody's gonna care. Like, it really is kind of do what you want. She's extraordinarily powerful in Hero League. If you want to just solo queue your way to victory, I honestly think that Lili is a great one to pick. And she's also very easy level 10 to get, but she can be very boring. To me, that's honestly her biggest downside. Her two biggest downsides is that she's kind of boring to play if you have any experience playing MOBAs. And she's also not reliable in the sense that sometimes you need to heal somebody that is not the lowest, that doesn't have the low. Say for example, you're in a fight and one person's running away, but the person now who's getting targeted is now dying, and you can't do anything about it. The best you can do is ult and pray to God something that you heal the other person fast enough.
Murkies and Lost Vikings on your team as Lili is the worst thing.
Yes.
Oh my God.
There's so many
wasted brews.
Yes.
Also. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many targets, yeah, but also like, okay, these guys are either A, gonna die or have low health pools. I want to heal my tank that's getting destroyed right now. Not throw a long arm to Murky who's like
to Olaf, like
thanks.
no.
And your positioning can only do so much with her. Like, the only indication that you have of who's going to get healed is a little green leaf that pops up over their head.
That's correct.
That's who the cup's going to go to. So you can try to move around the battle in the back and try to get that leaf to pop up over who you want, but it's still not super reliable.
Right. I think she's a very fun, and so she has two ultimates. She has a Jug of 1,000 Cups, and she has the Water Dragon. The Water Dragon is probably the more fun ult in the sense that it's kind of silly, but it's not very good. I think it just slows. I don't even know if it does damage.
It does damage.
It does a little bit of damage,
it's
I never take
awful.
it. Yeah, it's kind of bad, yeah.
It's immoral.
And the Jug is incredible. However, the Jug ult is really good. Your things you have to watch out for is that you're very vulnerable to stuns when you're ulting, and people will usually wait. Now, that's not really a bad thing, because if you can get off even half of your jugs,
it's 500 heals.
That's quite good. If 500 heals, yeah, of your 1,000 cups that you throw. But even if you can get off just half of it, they just spent half the fight holding their stuns for you, and that's actually good. It actually benefits your team if they're holding their stuns waiting for you to ult, and if they miss, it's even better. So just run around, heal, and have fun. Just win the video game. I think I literally have like a 60% win rate with Lily.
It's stupid what your win rate is with her.
It's very easy to be very good with her.
Yeah. She can almost like carry your team just because she's just so strong with uncoordinated teams. So, okay, so next person I have is recently buffed. We have Malfurion. I actually, admittedly, have not played a ton of Malfurion. However, he does feel quite strong right now. I think he's always been kind of mid-ground, maybe even stronger before stun meta. But since his recent buff, he's actually been doing quite good. His initial heal buff has really done him quite well. So he has a lot of utility as well with entangling roots. If you can kind of coordinate your entangling roots with some other grouping ability, say Johanna or...
I got a good one for this one. So I don't know if I should link this video to you guys or if one of you guys linked it to me, but it was a Cho'Gall Malfurion video. And you just go in and the first thing you see is save roots. After level 10, save roots for upheaval.
That's a video by The Oxygen on YouTube. You guys can check it out, TH3 Oxygen.
And it's great. You just see team fight, middle of the map, upheaval happens, and as soon as the enemies start coming towards Cho'Gall, roots land on top of Cho'Gall. And it's a 5-person wipe. They get everybody because of that combination.
The wombo. Yeah, so but he synergizes really well because of that. I mean, it's actually a very good ability. You can also get a lot of range on it from his talents. He has a Loon's Grace, which grants him a lot of range on those talents.
You can have an Angry Treant.
No, nobody takes that.
No one takes that.
They do take that.
No,
I've seen it.
That's silly. Don't be like that.
That competes with Loon's Grace, which is one of the best talents.
Yeah, exactly. don't take that. Take a Loon's Grace. It is fantastic. So,
I've played a lot of Malfurion. I think he's like my second highest level healer.
Really?
Actually, yeah. He's a lot of fun. Tranquility, even though it got nerfed recently, is still a very potent.
It was a very small nerf. I mean, really, at the end of the day.
It's not
It was minor.
And it was at the cost of giving him better healing throughout the game, so I'm totally okay with that. Because if you have to completely rely on your ult, what kind of hero are you? That's not very good. That's not a very powerful feeling hero, honestly. So I really like that. And once he gets Life Seed again, that thing is at 16, he is really good. You're just tossing it. You can heal so much.
You're not even doing anything and you're healing everybody.
He is one of the healers, I think, and obviously all these healers complement from another support in the game, but he is the one I think complements the best with another support because he has that utility of roots. So he has like high utility and a really good heal with somebody who can't do quite as much healing or like can do shields like say Tassadar. He is a great pair up with him.
He also gets Mule and Scouting Ground, and he gets Cleanse.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so he's got a lot in his kit, can have a lot in his kit.
And laning with Malfurion is awesome because you can go nuts with your abilities and it'll innervate your mana.
Right, and Innervate's actually getting a buff too.
Yeah.
Yes, so he'll actually be able to talent for Innervate all the way up to 30% of your maximum mana, which is insane.
That's a lot of mana.
That's a lot of mana. So
That is a ton. So much.
He will
Use
pair
every
well
ability.
with any mage. So I think that he's actually a lot of fun. I'd like to get some more games in with him. So that kind of wraps it up for my and his Tranquility and Twilight Dream.
Right.
All right, so Twilight Dream, I think they're trying to get people to take this talent. It's kind of silly. It silences and does damage, AoE. So
it hurts.
It's fun.
It hurts.
It's fun, but I mean,
Tranquility is so good.
Yeah, it's hard to give that up.
Mostly because you can still, unlike Jug, you can compare it to Jug of 1,000 Cups for Lily, but the fact that you can still use all of your abilities while Tranquility is going is incredible.
And you can't get stunned out of it.
You can't get there's a lot of benefits to Tranquility versus Jugs. Jugs only heals one target at a time. It's literally like you have your Q on no cooldown. It's basically what it's like, constantly going off. Versus Malfurion is more like I have regrowth going at hyperspeed at everyone around me. Also, I can also cast roots. Also, I can do all these other things. I can't be stunned. I can't, it's impossible to get out of this. That alone makes it a better ult than Jugs. Even if it didn't heal as much, it'd still be a better ult than Jugs.
Yeah.
You feel very powerful. And the fact that you can't get stunned out of it is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really, really nuts. You have to polymorph him or throw him in a cocoon or maw or something to take him completely out of the game.
Move him out of the game.
Just
He has to
banish
go into
him.
stasis.
At the Emerald Dream, he's like, oh, I'm tired, and just,
cold.
he just leaves. So that wraps it up for my healers. The next healers, the next supports I have actually are obviously most of them can heal, most of them. But they also have some other utility to them, or maybe their kits aren't super heal oriented, which I think puts them into these categories. So I started with just a straight up support category, and the reason why I feel like these characters are supports is that really none of their kit is just straight healing. They can be powerful healers, or they can provide a lot of utility to help get kills. It's more of like almost a traditional sense of a MOBA support, where they can help secure. So the first one I'd like to talk about is Tassadar. Tassadar, if you're playing solo support, he almost has to take Leeching Plasma, which is it allows your basic attacks to, once you have a shield placed on you, the basic attacks made by that target heal that target. It's super good paired up with other auto attack heroes like Renor or something like that. They can heal themselves very quickly. But other than that, he has Force Wall, which is arguably one of the best initiation and time wasters in the video game. And he also has a decent amount of like kind of floor damage and poke.
Annoying.
He can be very annoying and a great escape. So, and provides vision as well. So these are, to me, none of those things is basic healing. He has a shield, his ground AoE.
Psionic Storm.
Yeah, Psionic Storm. And he has his escape, and he has Oracle, which grants vision. None of these things are healing, but they provide so much utility to your team. And he can also do things like slow, which is really damn good if you have a lot of melees or you need someone to stick to something. He can shield towers. He can. And lastly, his escape is really excellent. So even if he gets in trouble, he can go invulnerable and stealth and get away. So I haven't played a ton of Tassadar. Do you want to comment on Tassadar a little bit?
Yeah, he's actually my highest level.
Yes.
support. I love Tassadar. I think he is the most fun support to play, mostly because he isn't just a heal bot and stuff like that. He feels a lot like he could be a support in Dota easily.
Yeah, he seems like a good fit in other focus. That's because he's almost like a Nivea I know in League of Legends who has the same ult.
And he's pretty versatile. Both Archon and Force Wall are good. Force Wall is probably the better one.
You have lots of room to mess it up.
There's a lot of things that can go wrong if you don't feel confident in your skill shots, especially if you have quick cast on.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, Force Wall's a little wonky with quick cast. Archon's really good. Tassadar is more powerful than people give him credit for, I think, because people purely see not a healer. But like you were talking about with Leeching Plasma and Kala's Embrace, which makes shields at least a fraction of them permanent, you can get some pretty decent healing on, especially after a team fight. Just throw shields on everyone, let them heal up. Oh, he's so much fun on what's the battlefield with the Immortals? Is it just called
Battlefield for Eternity?
The Battlefield for Eternity, yeah. That's such a fun one with him because he's going nuts on those Immortals, heal up at the same time.
Yes, I honestly think he is, like you said, very powerful. There are lots of European teams that are actually running him as solo support nowadays. And I see why. Like, he is really, really excellent. What you do is, if you can pair him up with other self-sustaining characters, he is excellent. He can kind of a shield and an assist, help getting those supports back, or getting, like, for example, he's really good with Sonya, who has, like, War Paint, who can have a shield on him, but she can heal up. Leeching Plasma, she can heal up really fast. Illidan, this kind of thing.
They just never go away. You never see those heroes out of lane ever.
No, there's no reason.
And of all the supports, he probably has the best wave clear.
Yes. I think, no, not anymore. He does not have the best wave clear anymore.
Really?
Yes, I will tell you here in a second. I honestly don't think anymore. He has very powerful wave clear. He's probably in top 3, though, definitely. I would say he's definitely in top 3 looking at my list here. So, and the reason why I say that is, one, Malfurion, the person I've talked about so far, is Malfurion has decent because he can take a talent that gives him mana back from moonfiring groups, so he can do a decent amount of AoE damage. He's not fantastic, but he can also stay in lane for quite a bit. He was before the scaling changes, he's actually known as a pretty decent solo laner, which is surprising, but yeah. And the other one is who I'm going to talk about next is Brightwing. Brightwing is also recently buffed, and her new I don't even know what that thing's called. I never even used it.
Flare.
Her Arcane Flare, thank you. Her Arcane Flare can really decimate minions very well, and she can soak for a long time. Very good wave clear. The reason why Brightwing is on my support list is that she also does not have really any healing talents. Her trait is healing, which you cannot control. So it's just AoE. Her abilities are a pixie dust, a polymorph, and the arcane flare. So again, this is all about setting up a heal, saving somebody by virtue of, controlling something else. And her really strong suit is mobility.
Yeah, she's extremely mobile. She's based a lot around shields and, like you said, protecting people. She looks extremely easy up front, and she's definitely a hero that somebody can just pick up and start playing. But there is some stuff that you can do to manipulate her trait to get some extra bonuses from it, because you can see the countdown. And I believe either 4 or 7, there is a talent where whoever has pixie dust gets a bonus heal.
Right.
So you can, if you're paying attention, you can actually get double benefit out of that talent. You can get somebody to be healed twice if you time the application right based on when your trait's going to come off cooldown, and that gets crazy. But it makes her much more difficult to play.
I think that it was going to kind of speak to my next point. I think that similar to other characters we talked about so far, like Uther, that there's a low skill floor, because she can be very effective even if because her polymorph is targeted. You just have to kind of be around people to heal them. You just need to put the shield on, and you can kind of go anywhere you want. That's very easy to kind of understand why that's good and how to do that. However, to get the most out of her, that's a high skill cap. Like, she has a high skill cap.
Yeah, she can be everywhere. She's extremely mobile. Everything she does is active except for her trait, her actual healing. So you're moving and blinking and healing and applying this and polymorphing that guy, and I'm going to the other side of the map now because somebody else is in trouble, and back and forth.
She seems to have a lot of really good talent options too.
She has
does.
a few. I think that some of them, I think she could benefit from some rework, quite honestly. I do think she has some must picks, like Hyper Shift and for level 1 is very good, or you take the Soothing.
That increases the range.
Right, increases the range.
She has a couple of distinct builds.
Yeah.
With some flex based on what your team needs at some early levels. So
right.
I think overall her talents are in a good spot, but there are definitely some that never get picked.
Right.
So she could probably use some attention, like we've seen with some other heroes.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I just think she could use a little bit of work. I think like I said, once she was buffed, now she can stay in lane for a little bit, get that experience, and then come up and arrive late to a team fight. That's very powerful.
Yeah, she can actually get the experience.
She's definitely a hero that I think was hit a little too hard earlier in the
buff
cycle.
Or in the nerf bat stage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, they
little heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Because Brightwing was like the healer.
Yes.
Well, they took away all of her damage abilities basically in one fell swoop. They nerfed her
and
arcane
all of
flare.
her lane push.
It was mostly her push was the issue.
Well, they took away arcane flare. They took away bribe. They took away
but bribe has to do with push.
Right. Well, they took that away. They took away Venom. She was a duelist.
Yeah.
She could duel almost anybody at one point.
She was scared.
Bribe and promote were the two biggest losses for her, though. Definitely.
Yeah, and the damage on arcane flare, because it just did so much damage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that, for example, she could sit in the bottom lane of almost any map and just, I think when Spiders was released, she was still buff. It was shortly after when Spiders got released, so she used to be able to just sit in the bottom lane, take the ogres in the bottom, and then just keep pushing, and then wait until there was a team fight at one of the turn-ins, and then go and then just heal everybody up to full with maybe a huge shield as well. I don't know if it's Hyper Shift or one of
No, that's another tier that gives the shield.
But that's also, I think, a very almost must-take talent as
Yeah,
when
it's
she...
so good. Like, I've made the mistake of not taking it recently. It's like, oh, crap.
No, I need that.
I need that.
It's even good in short distances just because it applies that shield.
What's the one that reveals? I love that.
Peekaboo.
Oh, that's so good.
It's a huge area.
It's gigantic.
Yeah, it's a huge
stupid.
area. So
It's like Oracle for Tassadar.
it's even better, I think.
It might be bigger,
I think it's bigger.
actually.
Yeah, I think it is actually bigger.
It's like, if you watch it on replays, it's basically all of the bottom lane.
It's like a quarter of the map. Like, it literally feels like a quarter of the map, depending on what map you're on. Like, it
is the entire, like, a mid-section of the bottom lane on Dragonshire.
Yes.
All of it. You can see gate to gate.
Yes. So, again, she's an awesome healer. She's a good healer, but you have to kind of be ready for preventative damage. Her pixie dust build, I think, is very powerful, and if you use her mobility to the best of your advantage, you're gonna. Yeah, she's a very fun healer. So that wraps it up. Those are the only two like support characters I had. The other three that are still available, I've called flex hybrids, and the reason why is because the damage output of these heroes is still very good, even though some of them have been nerfed and some have been buffed recently. But they also can have high healing output depending on how you build them. So you really do have a choice. These are excellent second support. They are excellent primary supports depending on how you build them, or So the first one we can talk about is Karazim. Karazim is an excellent healer, and in pro, pretty much, if Uther has been banned or picked, you take Karazim because he has a similar ultimate, which is Divine Palm. And then he also has 7-sided strike, which is also very powerful versus bruiser comps. So now, these are two very good ultimates, and his healing talents are very good, especially if you take the trait in the beginning, which is the
Transcendence.
Which
trait.
hopefully you do.
Hopefully you do, right, exactly.
The only one you really should not ever take at level 1 is Insight, which restores
Is that
mana.
the mana one? Yeah.
That's the mana one. Don't ever take that. It restores mana to you. Your teammates don't get it. It benefits nobody, and you really don't need it.
I have never had that much of an issue with mana on Karazim, to be quite honest with you. I've never had that much of an issue.
You should never take that one on him.
I think Karazim's in a pretty good spot. I think that a lot of his talents are actually very good and pretty situational. He's very kind of plug and play him how you want to. Really, there's very few trap talents in his tree.
Yeah, especially if you take Transcendence at level 1, you
Yes.
can basically do anything else you want, and you're going to be doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
You'll do
So
well enough.
if you are solo healing, then you'll want to take Echo of Heaven, and probably your Divine Palm.
Yeah.
So those are probably your must picks if you're going to be healing. Everything else is a little bit flexible.
He's a great chase down hero. His dash lets him close gaps on people that are almost dead.
Yes.
So it puts him in a great spot. Especially, I think he falls straight into the utility supports for sure because of that fact.
Right. So his abilities are a radiant dash, the kick,
Deadly Reach.
No, the not the kick. This thing where he goes. I always think it's a kick. I always think he does a roundhouse and it heals everybody. That's not what it is. For some reason, I always think that's what he's doing.
It's the wave of light.
Wave of light. Thank you. For some reason, in my mind, that's always what he's doing. But literally, he's never done that. He just goes wham.
No, he goes into a ninja run. He throws his arms out.
Yeah, he's Naruto's everybody, and everyone gets healed. But that and then. Yeah, and then his dash, right? I was talking about his dash. Dash and the 100 Fists is the other one. Where he starts,
Deadly Reach.
Is that Deadly Reach?
Yeah.
I always think that it's just like the monk in World of Warcraft. I get them mixed up. So I think it's 100 Fists and Deadly Reach.
Nah, it's deadly because it extends his attack range.
Right.
So it's Deadly Reach.
That's true. Okay. So he can have very high damage as well. He provides a really good utility because he can he has some cleanse talents that he can take. He can actually take Cleanse, which competes with Echo of Heaven. I don't suggest this, frankly, though, unless you absolutely need it, because it really neuters his healing output.
It does. It cuts it down significantly.
Yeah, because what Echo of Heaven does is that it adds another round of healing for 50% of the initial healing. And it's free. It's free. It adds a ton of extra healing, and for that to compete with Cleanse, you'd have to make a really, really strong argument for it. So maybe if you have another support in your team that doesn't have Cleanse, like Lily or even Tyrande, it would probably be a good one to pick. So again, I think you can go either way. You can either just build him semi-damage and then maybe just take the Transcendence, or you can take maybe the damage talent and some other healing talents. You can go pure damage, you can go pure healing. He has a lot of flexibility and high mobility as well because of that dash.
Yep.
So, again, kind of a hard character to play because you're always kind of in the thick of it. You don't want to get CC'd down.
It's easy to get overextended with him. You'll especially because he can chase down. Like, I can just run up and hit that guy. I can just dash and I'm out of dashes and now I'm dead.
Yes, so I would always be wary of that, like make your escape route. He's also very good against stitches because of that. Because if he gets hooked by stitches, he can almost dash away instantly, and it's not really a problem.
Yeah,
it's not.
Absolutely.
So I think he's a good counterpick for stitches if you're playing support versus stitches. The next character, and this is what I was going to talk about for wave clear. He is my number one wave clear right now, is Rhaegar. And the reason why is because of that lightning shield.
Yes.
I absolutely agree with you.
Yes.
100%.
That lightning shield buff, it's so sweet. Like, it is so sweet.
Like, even at low levels, it does like 60-some damage a tick to everything around it.
Yeah, basically I just stand there and I just go,
Yeah, you hit the thing, you give yourself lightning shield and then punch the mage, and then you're basically done. That's it.
You can just chill. It's very, 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 very good. You can solo lane now with him and just clear just very quickly.
Just go nuts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fantastic. That was one of the things I noticed with him. It was out of control.
It was actually good before the patch. It's insane now. It's very, very good. And it looks cool too with the new numbers that they're like flying out.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah, it looks really cool. So, Rhaegar is the. Yes, I can't. I'm like so excited. I keep on thinking about all his buffs, and they're just so exciting to think about. Feral Lunge is now baseline. I used to take the Feral Lunge build a long time ago when you still kind of could play him. And now his chase down potential is really good. He has good AoE healing. You can add some talents to give you more burst healing when characters are under 50% health.
Which is huge. Like, it was a really big buff to him.
Or you can go ahead and take the Lightning Shield build, which does a ton of damage post 16. We're looking at a team fight cast on your tank and GG. Literally, that's what it feels like. It's literally
it's so hard to keep up with. And you can have Lightning Shield up so often.
Well, yeah, there's only, if you take the first talent that makes the duration of it last a little bit longer, I think you only have 1 second of downtime. So that's excellent.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's so cool.
And like I said, Earth Shield, which gives you 15% of your max health as a shield, that's fantastic. On high health characters like Cho'Gall, Diablo when he's buffed, and Stitches and Chen benefit a lot from this, especially because Chen provides shields himself, and people have to get close to him, so you just cast a lightning shield, he just sits there and drinks, and it's a light show. He's like, yeah. So, his ultimates now, I think they're both actually viable, especially if you have two supports. You have Bloodlust, which increases the attack speed of everyone, pretty much everyone on your team.
Movement speed, right?
And movement speed, that's correct. The level 20 upgrade also makes basic attacks heal, so it's almost like a little mini healing.
So once again, it's super good on AA heavy teams.
Right.
Especially range AA. So Tychus, Raynor, Vala, they're going to benefit huge from Bloodlust.
Right, because they stick.
Jinx took it last night in one of our games, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
you don't see that. Never really saw that picked ever.
Yeah, it's fun because, like I said, if you have a second healer, it's really good. And then and of course, ancestral healing's incredible. It's a really good ult. It's just
super
harder to land. And the downside to taking Bloodlust is you have to wait till 20 before it heals. But I mean, if you're already ahead, just go for it. Like, it's fun. Just do it. It's really, really fun. He has Earthbind Totem as one of his abilities, and then of course the wolf form, which makes him quite slippery. It's really hard for people to catch you. I think you run faster than Lunara, but she can slow you down.
It's like he's like 30%.
He's 30, she's 20. Yeah.
So it's not much, but it's enough where he can get fucking away from you.
You can talent it to 40 now. That's true. I don't know if I'd take that though. There's a lightning shield talent on that. Right. Yeah, don't take that. Yeah. Pretty much you can play him by just taking all the lightning shield talents, or you can take a bunch of Q talents, which is his chain heal. Positioning's a little bit tricky with him because he is a frontline healer. I also think he has one trap talent, which is that Blood and Thunder talent, which is when you attack with your wolf form, your cooldowns get reset a little bit, mostly just because you're kind of just constantly shifting in and out. You might not be... I don't think it adds up to enough. It's not enough. It's not like forward momentum used to be, so it's...
I want to try it.
I've tried it. I just don't think it's good enough. I almost think it's imperceptible compared to other talents in that tree, so... And I saved the best for last. Well, arguably the best now, which is Tyrande. Tyrande also completely fits under Flex Hybrid because she's not... the best solo healer. She can do it just like Tassadar, but she has a ton of utility. You're talking about setting up kills with stuns. Talking about giving vision.
She does a decent amount of damage herself.
And adding vulnerability.
Also, you just love her.
I just love
She's your
playing
fave.
her. I do.
That's why you saved her for last. You want to talk about your bae.
That's the bae. It's true. I would say that there are a lot of opportunities to make big plays with a lot of these supports. It's one of the cool things about playing support is that you can be a playmaker without necessarily being in the thick of it or even putting yourself in too much danger. And you can have a lot of impact on the fight. Tyrande really allows for those things, like insanely well.
She does so much.
Offering vision, scouting a boss, scouting the objective,
being able to
denying objectives.
Being able to scout without having to go clear across the map with a person to do it. I mean, it does so much.
And her trait is really, really damn good. 25% extra damage on a target that's a lot of damage. It's very good. And honestly,
I know what you were thinking, but wait, wasn't she nerfed?
Yeah, wasn't she nerfed? Yeah. Yeah, she was, but it's almost, again, the only difference I've noticed since the patch is that it's a little bit harder to do what I used to do. And that's what it needs to be. I think so. It can't be that easy. It was so easy before to do it. Now it's a little bit harder.
And that's what Blizzard wanted to address with her. It's like she was too good at everything.
Yeah.
So they just made it a little bit harder for her to be good
right.
at everything.
I lose people a little bit more often now, especially when my heal is down and, what have you, that kind of thing.
She's hard for me because I don't play her that often. I'm decent, but keeping up now with her is much, much harder.
Yeah, and the nerf distance on your flare is kind of a little thing for me to get used to because I used to hit those at max range almost every single time. So those feel clutch sometimes, but I'm like, oh God, I hope this lands. But she also takes a lot of kind of skill. Landing that skill shot takes practice, and kind of hoping people don't juke you too much and kind of really predicting another player's behavior.
It's not terribly difficult to do in quick match. A little bit of practice, you'll find that most people just run in a straight line. Mm-hmm. And don't try too hard.
She also has multiple builds. She has like a stun build, who adds to her vulnerability and kind of her utility with her lunar flare. A Lunar Blaze.
Got a straight up DPS build.
She has an auto attack build with a lot of burst. Actually, a surprising amount of burst. If you want to freak out some melee guys, you should do that because it's so funny to see them just be like, "Oh shit!" Like she, like,
I gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go. Oh my god! Ow!
She's pointy.
She is quite pointy. Because after she had Huntress's Fury, Searing Arrows, plus the vulnerability and. She's just like, ow, 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 okay, I'm sorry, ow.
And you put anybody with her that buffs attack speed, and it gets pretty gross in a hurry.
Right. So, and then her two ults are Shadowstalk and Star Shards.
Starfall.
Whatever.
She's not an actual priest from WoW.
She is though. She is literally like a priestess of Elune. She's the priestess of Elune, isn't she?
Right. That means she's better.
But she literally has Star Shards. I mean, let's have an honest conversation about the fact that she has Star Shards. Yeah.
Well, she's a druid. She has Starfall.
She's not a druid.
She tries to be a druid.
Oh,
druids have Starfall.
Yeah, that's true. But she's not one. She's just married to one.
That part is true. That's where she learned it.
That's where she learned it.
That's where she learned it.
BS. It's Star Shards. I'm going to call Star Shards. I'm going to report Blizzard. I'm going to change .org petition. Like, we need to talk about this.
Call out post.
It's like call out. It's Tyrande. We need to have a talk about you using Star Shards. And if you use Star Shards in your game, we need to have a talk too. Because don't take it. It's not worth it.
It's a trap.
It is a trap. I'm sorry. Like, no matter what people tell you, like, oh, it's got a lot of decent AoE. Oh, maybe on Infernal Strikes. No. Don't fucking bother with that. It's just, yes, okay, it does damage, but...
It's a shitty Phoenix.
It is like a shitty Phoenix.
Nobody gets out of that. That doesn't do enough damage to get people to zone out.
And it isn't slow enough either. Like, if it's slowed more, maybe, like, okay, maybe. But it doesn't. Giving global heal plus global stealth is way better than a tiny little AoE. No way. It's just the utility for that, the fact that I can help somebody across the map by just hitting R on a low cooldown ult.
It does not.
It's a joke and we're not laughing.
It's a joke. It is literally, no one's laughing about. And it's also, you can use it to engage, because if you're maybe playing owl build, you can get off a few owls and like cut down your cooldown by quite a
Oh,
bit. You
man.
can probably do it by the end of the engagement too.
You can do some nasty ambushes with Shadow Stalk. Use an Alva Scout and then ambush them.
Right.
Nasty.
So,
Never see it coming.
well, they see it coming if you owl them. If anything, that's actually one thing you have to be wary of. Is sometimes don't owl because it shows exactly where you are. It's like having a fire in the woods. Like we know where you are, girl. Like don't shoot the owl. So if you're trying to do something sneakily, don't shoot owls. Don't. Everyone can see where that owl went or where it came from. So yeah, that covers pretty much every healer. Actually, it does cover every healer in the game. I think the surprising thing about this is I really sat and honestly thought about every single support in the game, and I don't think any of them are really in a bad spot. I think they're all very powerful. I think we finally have arrived at that moment of, wow, remember when we were talking, like very early on when we started recording, and I said, I don't think they need to nerf Tyrande. I think they need to buff every other healer. They have almost done that since I've said that. I think the only healer that hasn't been touched is Lily and Karazim since then. So, Uther hasn't been touched either.
Oh, he got that 2 second
He got a
reduction.
slap on the wrist.
Oh, that's right. He did get a slap on the wrist.
He got the yellow card.
He got, yeah, exactly. He got the Tyrande treatment. It was like, oh, nobody cared. Like, it's the same. So, I mean, that being said, you're always going to have top healers. And I think that that's the one thing that Blizzard needs to chill out a little bit. Like, look, there's always going to be someone who is, quote unquote, the best or is going to be first pick, first ban. There's just always going to be one character like that or a couple. In this case, I think it's Uther and Karazim. I think it's Uther, Karazim, Tyrande tend to be those three.
Currently. I think you're going to see Rhaegar move into that.
Rhaegar, I think, is going to be really scary unless they kind of nerf him down a little bit.
They've definitely come a long way because I remember like when the first initial wave of kind of like healer nerfs happened months ago. The strategy was kind of, okay, we picked Uther, Malfurion, and Rhaegar at the time, and we banned Brightwing and Tassadar, so you have to pick Lily. That was the strategy, and
Well, who was it that got into that position and then said, fine, I'm not going to pick a single talent and we're still going to beat you?
I think it was someone on Murloc Geniuses. It was so funny.
The salt.
Yeah.
They took no talents at all with Lily and won the game.
Lily's damn good. Lily is damn
But we've come a long way where there's a lot of like really viable supports now, and that's awesome.
Yes.
And that was something that I know they were struggling with for a long time. That's part of the reason we did not have bans in Hero League for such a long time.
Right, yeah, there just aren't enough supports.
Yeah.
Like if you ban two, theoretically you could ban four.
Right.
Like so that would be
You can
really
take 4
bad.
out of the game,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, take your entire team could be
What
supposed
if
to be
if you ban,
Who's stopping
yeah,
you?
who's stopping you?
Madman.
Oh my god, freaking speaking of that, okay, hold on, I have to talk about this one thing I saw, and I wish I remembered the name. I didn't have the name of the person down, so I'm sorry if this was you, but I saw the most hilarious stream of, I believe, a Chinese streamer, and the team comp was it was Brightwing, Malfurion, Tyrande, Lily, and Gazlo. And they won.
One of these things is not like the other. Where does Gazlo fit in? How did he sneak in?
Okay, yeah, I think they were just support Gazlo, like just everybody support Gazlo and do damage. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire, and it worked. They stomped them because if you kind of think about it, you have the Grabo bomb into the stun, into roots, into crap tons of turrets, into maybe even Starfall. You know, any AOE ability.
In that situation, you could take Starfall.
Yeah, Starfall, and maybe even Twilight Dream to silence them. I mean, they're gonna die. Like that's it. The kind of wombo that it was actually and then he also took the Death Laser talent, so he did a ton of damage to anything in a line. Okay. It was a beautiful game. I'll have to, if I can find it, I'll add it into the show notes.
I want to watch
it was seriously one of the funniest things. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like cackling in the bedroom. So, who was your guys' favorite support?
Tassadar, absolutely.
Tassadar, I know yours is Tassadar. Who's yours? Oakley.
That's a good question. I don't play supports that often.
No, I always
don't.
take it.
Honestly, it'd probably be Tyrande as well.
Tyrande?
Just because she's so incredible.
You play a lot of Brightwing, so I thought maybe you might.
I've been playing Brightwing recently, and I do really, really like Brightwing, but I play the most Tyrande. So.
I love playing.
What about you, Bearcat?
I love playing Tyrande, but Rhaegar, I actually loved playing Rhaegar before I played Tyrande. And then he just kind of fell off the radar for a bit there, and then I kind of picked up Tyrande. And
The Rhaegar radar?
The radar. Yes, the Rhaegar radar. That's going to be my new, like, warm-up thing. I'm going to say Rhaegar radar.
You're already warmed
Rhaegar
up.
radar. Yeah, it's hard.
Good stuff.
So, you know, and Tyrande was very good. The really, again, the thing that I like the most about Tyrande is that she can be a playmaker. You're talking about, you can make huge setups, you can get great getaways, and you can land the stun.
She compliments everybody.
Yeah, no one should ever give you shit for ever picking Tyrande.
Yeah,
ever.
she's never a bad pick.
Yeah.
It's like picking Kael'thas. Kael'thas is never a bad pick.
Never. So that's why I liked playing her. But I mean, as of late, I think it's a little bit going to be flavor of the monthy, but I did love Rhaegar's changes. They feel strong. He feels like Tyrande was, because he's so good at almost everything. He does a shit ton of damage. He heals way better than she ever did. And he has a massive healing ult or a crazy DPS ult. So,
With that said, you know that he's going to get nerfed.
I feel it. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my bones. But till then, enjoy the puppy. Enjoy that puppy. So.
Do we have a question for this week?
Yeah, sure do.
All right.
All right, let's hear it.
All right. Do you guys think that Rhaegar sounds like King Piccolo from Dragon Ball? Because I sure think he does. Let us know at Dirty Casual Show at twitter.com.
He has no chill. It's so funny because for a shaman, he literally just has no freaking
He's
chill.
aggro shaman.
He is so aggro.
And if memory
These
serves,
mercenaries will fight for us or die. Like,
correct me if I'm wrong, he's not a Warcraft character. He's from the comic books, right? Am I wrong about that?
no, you're not wrong. I don't think he was actually a character. I believe they made him for I don't know if he was comic books, but I think he was in some literature or something.
Because I also know, like, Valyra was a comic book character first before they put her in.
That's entirely possible. I honestly
Warcraft
cannot answer that question.
Yeah, I know that, like, I don't even think I know if he was, like, named. I think he was named, like, in literature and, like, never anywhere else.
Or
Otherwise,
Grohl Bearmantle, which Blizzard, please give us a
please,
give us a feral druid.
please. Oh my God,
That'd be so good.
I was so hoping that we were gonna get a who's that troll? That
Zul'jin?
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
we were gonna get Zul'jin.
I would have loved that.
Yeah. So I don't know if he sounds like Piccolo because I also don't watch DBZ.
Oh my god.
I know I had to.
Jeez. Well, okay, lucky for you. You can go to Funimation.com and
Lucky for you, you can watch the Dragon Ball. But yeah, so I mean that wraps it up for this week. Next week, we will be talking about specialists. So long as no like game breaking like insane thing happens next week, we'll be talking about specialists. We will find out.
Tune in next time.
Next time in the same Dirty Casual place, some same Dirty Casual channel or Frozen Fox channel. So let us know. Does he sound like Piccolo? Do you sound like Piccolo? Can you
Am I the Piccolo?
Are you
You're
the
not
Piccolo?
I'm not the Piccolo.
Can you do a good Piccolo impression? Can you bring me some pickles? Can so you can.
What's our blog spot?
Our blog spot is dirtycasualshow.blogspot.com. Yes, and our Twitter is Dirty Casual Show. Our Twitch TV, you can catch us on Tuesdays at 7:30 Central. We do our free play night, and that's at Dirty Casual Show as well on Twitch TV. You can also find us on iTunes and Stitcher. We are the Dirty Casuals. So thank you so much for listening. Oh, I'm sorry. There's one more thing. We have a winner.
There's always one more thing.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We had a winner, and our winner. Let's. I wish we had a drum roll sound. Yeah, do it. Yeah, there we go.
That's a cat purring.
That's
Get your cat out of here.
Oh my God! Stop it. So our winner was at Gamers Equinox on Twitter. Yay! Yes. So thank you for helping us celebrate our 10th episode of Dirty Casual, and you'll be getting a T-shirt. And we hope that you stick around and keep listening to us. And thank you so much for all your support.
We love you guys.
We love you.
See y'all next week.
This podcast is part of the Frozen Fox Radio Network. For more shows and information, visit frozenfoxradio.com and follow us on Twitter @FrozenFoxRadio.